Jeez. Finally. Hey, everybody. Think we're live now. I hope it's working. Sorry about that. For those who are waiting in the chat room, let me see if I can balance this water somewhere efficiently. Hi, everyone. I tried to do something different because I know that the mobile live streams are not the highest bit rate. They're not the best quality audio or sound. So what I was going to try to do was something that YouTube was offering. What they did was they had this option to up your bit rate of the stream that was coming in, which I didn't see before. It was a little card on the Google Chrome in the live broadcast room thing here. Hey, everyone. Let me get the chat out so I can see everybody's chat, including Super Chance. Okay. So I tried to do that because I understand that the bit rate of these videos is not terribly high. It doesn't look super good, but it's the best we got, unfortunately. There's no way to make it better. And I thought YouTube had a way to fix it. There was this option that said you could set the bit rate, and one of the options was to even do it in 4K. But I didn't think I had the internet for that, so I just thought I'd be a little generous today and try to bump it up to 720p. No, that didn't work out. So I tried to hit start on the live stream, and that was the one where everyone was in the chat room already. Tried to do that. As soon as I hit start, the app said cannot load, that you cannot connect, there's no video, there's no audio, will not work, and that's why I tried to start that second one. That didn't work, but anyway, we're here now. I know the bitrate is not that good, but look, I'm trying my best. The quality is not because of the iPhone itself, it is because of the internet we have available out here. There's no better Wi-Fi. Okay, anyway, I hope you guys have been enjoying the videos. In fact, I haven't mentioned this, but for the last couple days, I've been out of town. I wasn't even here. I was out on a camping trip, but because I did that whole angry thing about me going to San Diego and making videos in advance for that and not being up to date on stuff, I didn't want to bring that up again and say like, well guys, I'm leaving a second time, but I scheduled more videos. You guys should just expect that by now. When I'm out of town, I'm going to be making stuff for you, and you should just expect that, and you're not going to get an announcement every single time I leave town. That's just ridiculous. Anyway, so I've been gone for a while. All the videos the last 3 days, I think, have been scheduled. They're not actually coming out that day. They were made in advance. Anyway, I'm back now. I'm glad you guys are saying it looks good for me. Wear your pants. It's hot in here, by the way. I'm in an attic with very little insulation, and it's like 100 outside today, so it's very hot here in California. Okay, so now we can finally start answering questions. Thank you. All right. Do you like Amazon Fire products? Let's see. I actually bought the Fire TV stick, and I'm actually really scared. I don't know if my review of the Fire TV stick is still around. I may have privatized it, but that's a good product. The remote is kind of, I don't know, fragile, not very durable. It's kind of this plastic-looking thing. It makes noises when you press it the wrong way. It's just kind of not the most high-quality device, but it works. I don't use it anymore, but my parents have it for their Amazon Prime purposes, and it works great for them, and we've had it for several years now. So, other than the TVs, there's not much I care about the Fire devices. I'd never choose a Fire tablet over an iPad. I think that's a stupid argument. Like, competitively, the Fire tablets are all just, like, infinitely cheaper. Just because Amazon uses cheaper materials, software is not as good. It's not even a major player in the game. Like, the big debate is Surface Pro versus iPad. The Fire tablets aren't even brought up. So no, I'm not a fan of the Fire tablets. I haven't tried them. I know that there's $30 ones or something, but they actually put I think advertisements on the lock screen of those, and I hate that. So anyway, I thought the Fire phone was overhated. I know it flopped, and I know they're probably not ever going to try to make a Fire phone again, but I still think that Amazon Fire phone was a very capable first-generation phone. I actually had I had one friend in college who had one, and I got to mess around with it, and the 3D features were not great, but they were cool and they were competent. I liked that it had that face tracking thing that was kind of unheard of at that time. Now, obviously, we got lots of devices that are implementing 3D face tracking into newer phones, but for the most part, that was kind of revolutionary at its time. You know, it had a glass back, which now that's what iPhones are going to, but at the time the iPhones didn't do that. I just thought it was a perfectly competent phone that was probably just limited by the software Amazon built around it. They didn't want to go full Android. They tried to build in their own Fire operating system. But, yeah, I understand why it wouldn't have been my top pick. I just thought that it would have been cool if Amazon Fire phone was actually a major competitor in the smartphone field. It would never have made me switch away from the iPhone, but I think Amazon Prime is a pretty good service, and the fact that you got a year out of it with the purchase of that phone, I thought that was a great deal. I thought that was overhated on. But other than that, no. I just like, Fire TVs are cool, Fire sticks are cheap, and they do their job well. Tablets, not so much. Phone, overhated. Okay. Anyway, let's get into questions. I heard rumors saying that the base model iPhone 8 will cost $1,200 for 64 gigs and $1,400 for 256 gigabytes. Okay, we're talking about that already. Wow, you gotta time how much time we get into a live stream before we start talking about the iPhone 8. Is it true? And if yes, it's too much for a phone. I can afford that, but it's just crazy. You know, Elmer, I made that whole video about why it needs to cost an excessive amount, and I understand everyone's hate surrounding it. It's completely justified, but yes, it's a little ridiculous, but again, we can't afford it, and I think Apple knows that. They know that the people who desperately want a complete refresh, redesign to the iPhone lineup, they're going to pay anything. You know, Apple could release it at $2,000 and people would still buy it, and TechRax is still going to do drop tests on it the day it comes out. So, no matter how much it costs, you can't say that, well, no one's going to buy it if it's that much. Come on. You know the Apple Sheep audience. You know the Apple fan base. They're going to buy it no matter what. The price point is merely meant to lower demand if possible. It's almost going to be impossible to lower demand of it anyway, and I think I read some reports on it on my drive home today, that demand for this iPhone, because of its edge-to-edge display, the OLED, the new cameras, the 3D Face Unlock, just that new redesign of that one size is going to be so appealing to everyone that there's no way you can set a price point in which no one's going to be interested in it. People are going to look at it, decide, wow, $1,200 for an iPhone? This is crazy. But I really like it, so I'm going to pay for it. That's the Apple Sheep core. All of Apple's fans have been like that since the beginning. Money has never stood in the way of Apple Sheeps getting their grass, you know. But I do think it's true. However, if it's not true, that's great. So that's why I'm just telling everyone, assume the worst. Assume that it's going to be expensive. Assume it starts at $1,400. Just prepare for that. If you can't afford that, that sucks. Just prepare to buy the 7S or to skip this cycle altogether, because the 2018 iPhones are going to look a lot like the editions, except they'll, of course, be better and probably cheaper. But that way, if when it comes out, it ends up being $900 to $1,000, it's a pleasant surprise. We're like, oh, good, it's not that expensive, even though it's still far more expensive. Anyway, do you think there will be an easy way to update to the real iOS 11 straight from the beta when it comes out? Asks the Absolute Zero. There tends to be, I think, like, I'm trying to remember, because I've had the developer beta for a long time, and I had the iOS 10 beta last year, and I believe it wasn't that hard to switch off the beta and go to the official release, because right now, at least, for the public release of iOS 11, there is a huge problem. Yeah, there's huge bugs, and I thought that, you know, with the beta 1 or the beta 2, these bugs would get better, and they would actually get worse sometimes. I just got a beta 2 update for my iPhone, and it's worse than the beta 1, which is weird. It actually causes more problems, which I don't understand. But yeah, there will be a way. To answer your question, thank you for your donation, by the way, Absolute Zero. Yes, there definitely will be. To be a moderator, by the way, guys, you just gotta ask specifically for it and donate $20. That is the price. I wish I could just give it to everyone who was asking for it, who was honest, but everyone would ask for it at the same time. I don't know who to trust. We've already had problems in the past with moderators abusing their power, so then I gotta remove them. So I'm just I'm not being super generous with who becomes a mod, because sometimes there's too many and everyone starts blocking every random person. Okay, for those asking about when we're going to be a giveaway, when there's going to be a giveaway, I know that I promised that there probably wouldn't be a giveaway until next year, but I can't tell you the details about it, but likely in August you'll be able to see a giveaway. And I can tell you it's likely going to be accessories, but I'm not going to give away something that's an Apple product, but I'm going to give you a very premium accessory for your Apple products, not made by Apple, but it's a company that wants to sponsor a giveaway that has contacted me that I'm a big fan of. I love this company. I've talked about their products lots of times on here, but I don't want to guarantee anything yet because I haven't said anything set in stone, but I'm hoping to do Tailosive Tech's very first giveaway just in August. Okay. You have a poster on Tesla, but you never talk about it. Well, Microwave 5606, I've made Tesla videos in the past, and the reason I don't talk about it too much now is just because there's only so much I can talk about. I find the Tesla debate fairly shallow. You know, there's a lot of controversial things going on in Apple right now about, you know, is the Apple Watch a flop? Is it the next big thing? What's the next big step for Apple? You know, will the HomePod compete with this? You know, what's the story with Touch ID on the iPhone, on the next iPhone? People are saying, oh, it's built into the power button because that's a lot larger, and I'm saying all these leaks we're getting from case manufacturers cover up the home button, which would be removing the Touch ID option. So I feel like that's not going to work out. But either way, there's plenty to talk about on Tesla, I would say, but there's just so little I can provide like insight for. I can really just tell you that it's great. I want a Tesla. I can't afford one. And that's about as far as the discussion can go. I can say, I wish I could afford a Model 3, but I can't. I could barely afford the tech I want to review. I think the future is self-driving cars. I think in the year 2070 it could be illegal to drive your car. We could see the most significant changes in our society in the way cars develop over the next few decades. But it's not a topic. Everyone kind of mutually agrees on it. So it's not a topic that there's a lot of debates to be had on. There's people saying, no, in the future you'll still be able to drive your cars. They're not going to make that illegal. That's impossible. Or the reasons why electric cars won't work out. Or here's the problems with Tesla. There's so much questions there, but we can't answer them yet. So if you want, I'd like to make more Tesla videos, and I probably would. Okay. Next super chat, thank you, from Osman Murad. It says, would you recommend AirPods or Beats Solo 3? So I've only tried Beats Solo 3 headphones like in an Apple store. I haven't used them for prolonged times, but I get the appeal because the colors match. But personally, and a lot of people aren't like this, I am not the kind of guy who likes over-ear headphones. A lot of people prefer that because of the noise cancellation, but personally, they mat down my hair a little too much and it starts to hurt my head over time. And I've had people tell me, you know, you gotta get the right kind and then it'll make it easier to wear. I'm not interested in trying on a different pairs because I really love my AirPods. They're my favorite pair of headphones I've ever owned. I don't notice they're there. I can wear them for hours and hours and hours and even forget that they were there ever. So I'll just walk out of stores and stuff and then reach in my ear and go, oh, that's right, I put AirPods in there. So they just kind of disappear, and I haven't ever had that kind of experience with over-ear headphones. They're a bit more obtrusive. They touch on the things when you're walking by. There's nothing wrong with Beats Solo 3. They're great headphones. I just think, personally, I would prefer AirPods for them being cheaper. But at the same time, they are going to take longer to get to you. And a lot of people would say that the Beats Solo 3 sound better, sound quality-wise. I can't tell the difference, but a lot of people out there would say. Or Beats X is earbud. Well, I know people who have the Beats X headphones, but those aren't truly wireless because they go around the back. AirPods truly do not have a wire. That's a little bit different, and I prefer headphones that don't have like the rubber seal that, you know, you kind of have to screw into your ear. I don't like doing that. I love Apple's AirPod design just because it fits in my ear so easily and it just stays there. I never have them fall out. What are your thoughts on the iPhone 7 having design features that were never updated on the new iPad Pros? Well, I think a lot of it is just because of sheer size. Like, I know what you're talking about, though. Like, the new iPad Pros didn't have the rounded off camera bulges like the iPhone 7. They didn't implement the solid-state home button like they did on the iPhone 7. They kept the headphone jack. They didn't implement... Well, no, wait. They do have stereo speakers. They didn't implement IP67 water resistance or anything like that, which are all features I really wanted to see on the new iPad, but I think that simply putting a Taptic engine in a device that size is far too complicated, and there's maybe just not room in the current day iPads, because like MacBooks like this, we have the fake Taptic feedback on our trackpad, so a lot of people in my videos were commenting, if they can make the haptic feedback in a MacBook trackpad seem realistic, why can't they put that in the iPad for 3D touch and the home button to be solid state? But I think that when you compare an iPad's thickness to a MacBook's, it's significantly thinner. It's not nearly the same. So that's where I would say it's a little bit different, and that's why they can't implement it yet. But I really hope it does come. But I think the iPad refresh got exactly what it needed. Was a footprint redesign, so that's with the thinner bezels, as well as a unique, what do you call it, standalone feature, exclusive. That's the word. On the new iPads with that ProMotion feature, that's something you don't get on any of the other Apple products, and you really have to see it to believe it. I think that's great. So I think it got what it needed. But again, I would love to see all of those things come to the iPad. Water resistance. Dual cameras, even. I would love that. A solid state home button, remove the headphone jack, put the Taptic engine in there so we can have 3D touch, all of that stuff. Let's see. Do you think the ugly version of the iPhone edition will make the cut, or the bezel-less design will? Radu, what are we talking about in the chat? Jeez, I'm not going to read everything, God. Okay, I personally think that the bezel-less design that still kind of has bezels, that's the true one, because we're still reading reports that are saying mass production hasn't even started yet, and all of the leaks and reports on the ugly iPhone edition that we all don't want to see have looked far too open. They've opened like entire boxes of them and taken pictures and said like there are shipping crates of these things we're checking just for safety. But I feel like there's no way you could get that many pictures of them at once, because first of all, they're not in mass production yet. They're trying to figure out the assembly lines for mass productions. Apple's buying parts and leasing manufacturing parts to get this iPhone ready. We're getting reports that it's going to be delayed again because they had certain manufacturing companies backing out at the last second. So it's unrealistic for the ugly iPhone edition leaks, because those look like completed models. The ugly ones have like the etching on them. They say iPhone. They have the extra designed by Apple in California. They're holding them. They're aluminum, which doesn't back up our wireless charging patents Apple's been passing, or the rumors that the wireless charging accessory won't be ready right away. So the leaks for the ugly iPhone edition look far too vivid. Like they're getting away with far too much for this to be actually believable. But the iPhone, the regular bezel-less design iPhone edition, the one, the one with the cut off at the top, that one we're just seeing kind of third parties make concepts of it based on AutoCAD leaks. So they're sending it to case manufacturers, and I've even read that Apple's working on the accessories for the iPhone edition already. And if we're just getting like AutoCAD files, no one's actually tweeting, or Venya Geskin's not talking about a completed, actually finished iPhone edition with that new design, the one that we all want, then I think it's a bit more believable. I don't think that an actual finished iPhone can get out of Foxconn right now and be reported on. I think we're getting all the CAD files and we're building it based off that, and that's more realistic. And Caesar brings up a good point, which is, what if the ugly iPhone is the 7S, which I think is totally possible? What if they want to have the 7S Plus be awkwardly have bezels and Touch ID on the back, but not wireless charging, and then the 7S would be just like an iPhone 7. Then we'll have like two new redesigns, one that's ugly and one that's pretty. Again, totally possible. Okay, what do we got? Oh, Carlos, I read your question on Linux, and I think I talked about that last live stream. Last live stream. I've not played around with Linux, but all I know is that it's fairly more complicated than Windows and Mac, and it kind of varies from computer to computer. So I don't have immediate plans on reviewing Linux, but if there's a huge demand for it, I'll move into it. Mark Zuckerberg's asking, opinion on the train wreck that is Infinity War. Oh, we talk about that on Tailosive Move Reviews. Subscribe to that channel. It's mostly Dan the Movie Man right now, but I'm over there occasionally. Either way, you should subscribe to that channel. Hey, just joined the live streams. I listen to them while I'm at work using gloves. Oh, Danny, congratulations. Thank you. I don't know. I mean, you work in a nice place that lets you listen to live streams. What do you think of expensive cases? I know you're a caseless, but I'd like your opinion. Greetings from Holland. The problem I have with most cases is that they sacrifice the portability of the iPhone. That's what I love about going caseless, is that it slips in your pocket very easily. It's very slick, and holding it is very pleasurable. And I even have certified Apple cases in that I use occasionally when I'm going on trips and stuff, and I want my iPhone to be protected. But even ones like this just make it a little too bulky for me, where I can't really slip it into the pocket as easy. This is a bit more slippery. It's not as pleasurable to hold. It just kind of devalues the whole product. Then the issue with third-party cases, and a company that I'm debating reviewing, honestly, sent this to me, and I unboxed it on the Tailosive Unboxed web series on Tailosive Talk. Subscribe to that channel as well. It's very, very thin, and the great thing about this case they mentioned was that, it doesn't interfere with the cellular connection of the phone, and it barely adds any width to it. So when I put this on my iPhone 7, it was still very, very slim, and it was very slick, and it was still portable. However, one thing I do prefer in cases is that when I want to, I can take them off. That's the lovely thing about the Apple case, is I can take this off very, very simply. It takes almost no effort, you can just peel it off. This one, however, when it's on, it is strapped on tight, and I get what they're doing because it's portable and it's light. It's not supposed to add much weight, and it's still slick and keeps the premium feel of the iPhone there. But this thing was a bugger to take off. I was breaking fingernails trying to get this off my phone. And in fact, when I did take it off my phone, the top of the case actually cracked halfway through. And they sent me this to review, but honestly, I'm debating making a video about it just because it would hurt their business so much. So I guess I already am talking about it because I'm on a live stream, but I need a case that can come off fairly simply. And that's my problem with this one. And it's very nice, but again, that's kind of something I need in a phone case, and this does not have that. It's very rigid, very hard to take off, and of course, if it breaks when you take it off, then it's like a one-time case. It's a case that you put on and never again take off, which I don't want that. I need a phone case that comes off. Anyway, Pot and Pain, I've seen your comment tips for first-time macOS users. It's just really play with anything. Play with it. That's my suggestion to anyone learning anything on first-time basis, is to just kind of sit down, mess around with settings, press buttons, and you'll find out the way to use it. I taught myself Final Cut Pro. I taught myself Adobe After Effects. I taught myself Adobe Premiere. I didn't take classes on them. I didn't watch YouTube videos on them. I literally just opened them, start pressing buttons. Excuse me. I would just go in there, just seeing what buttons do. It was like, oh, that does this. Oh, that does this. And just try to figure my way through it. That's all I can recommend to a new macOS user, is to just press buttons, see what they do. The super thin MacBook is the same price as the base model of the MacBook Pro, asked Miguel. Is it? $1,400? Yeah. No, I can get that too, because some people prefer the portability of the 12-inch MacBook. I can definitely understand. Well, excuse me. I can understand the appeal to the portability. I don't have the 12-inch MacBook anymore, but I love that thing. That was my favorite laptop, I think. Obviously, I had to get a 15-inch MacBook Pro for these specs, because this is my main editing machine. This is my one computer that I do all my editing on. So I needed something with some good RAM, some good processing power, and this was like the maximum of what I could afford at the time. But if they could store this amount of power in a 12-inch MacBook, I would take that thing. It was so portable, so light, you could throw it in bags and barely notice that you had them. I love that. Okay, Almer San Martin is asking, have I ever owned a PC? I have. For 1 year, I owned a custom-built gaming PC that a friend of mine and I built together. It was going to be my gateway into gaming, because as a Mac user, I never had a ton of gaming experience, but I thought once I bought that, and I bought it for a pretty good price, I thought that that was going to be how I got into my gaming industry, gaming channel, stuff like that. It was also going to be what I edited all my videos on, because it had more processing power than the 2012 iMac I had at the time. So from the year 2013 to 2014, I had that thing. But the problem was, at the time Windows 10 wasn't out, and it was working okay. But then Mac OS, I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was El Capitan. Yeah, we got El Capitan that year, or it might have been Yosemite. I can't remember. But it provided a huge specification and performance bump on my 21.5-inch iMac that made my iMac run a lot faster and render things a lot better. And that gaming PC was creating more problems every day. It was like, all of a sudden now when I want to open Adobe Premiere, it just wouldn't open. No reason. Like the day before it opened fine, now it's not going to open. And I would have to look up how to do it, and people say, oh, you got to get the right drivers, oh, you're not doing this right, oh, you have to uninstall this. Then the internet wouldn't work. You have to restart the computer. Sometimes the keyboard and mouse wouldn't work, even though they're plugged in. So very basic things it would just start dropping out on, and that's where I truly became an Apple sheep. Back in gaming PC, back when I owned that gaming PC, I was not as exclusive to Apple. I still had mostly Apple stuff, but I understood that if you wanted processing power for cheap, you could just pay a little bit for a good bang with your buck if you got a PC and just stood up with the Windows 7 crap, which is, by the way, the best operating system Microsoft's made, which they don't support anymore. I put up with that for a while. I got Windows 10, and then more and more problems started flooding in. I still have access to that computer. I sold it to my good friend Wyatt over at Tailosive Gaming, but it still has problems for him every other day. So I help him fix it. The cables break and inputs freak out, and then it doesn't connect to the internet, and we try to fix things and swap things out. It's a nightmare, and that's where I got the big comment I have about most non-Apple devices, is that they're just not a consistent experience. Sometimes you can build a gaming PC and it'll work perfectly fine. You'll have none of the hiccups like I did. Sometimes you can do that. And other times you end up like me and you spend all this time and money on this thing and it doesn't work. And every day there's a new problem. And then there's the whole world of viruses I was never introduced to, because I'm an exclusive Mac user until that point. So I sold it because I wasn't using it. I was just I ended up editing everything on my iMac anyway, because the performance enhancements that came with the software. And keep in mind, the iMac, the iMac I got was older than the custom-built gaming PC. So the graphics card, the RAM, everything was brand new on that PC. However, just because the iMac was more optimized with software and hardware, it performed better in the long run, and that still works far better today than that PC does, because Wyatt has both of them right now, one for editing, one for gaming. So that's where I kind of became a full-on Apple sheep, is when I tried both sides of the spectrum. I tried to use that thing. I tried to make a Hackintosh. I get all the people asking about, when are you going to, you should try to do a Hackintosh. That was an even bigger wave of problems, because you just follow the YouTube tutorials, right? They walk you through how to put macOS on there. Oh, I did it. Oh, it's not working. You don't have the right drivers. Here's the drivers you need. Download those drivers. Try to install them. Doesn't work. Now I just have a Mac that doesn't have internet or audio. Great. Defeats the whole purpose of macOS, which is to have a seamless hardware and software computer that works seamlessly, and you don't even have to think about how does the computer work. I don't have to worry about drivers. I don't have to worry about updates. I just turn it on and it works. That's the great thing about a Mac. And when you do a Hackintosh, you kind of defeat the whole purpose of having a Mac, which is simplicity. You have to tinker with it until it works. So I tried, couldn't get it to work. Believe me, it took like a week of attempting things before we officially just gave up. We studied all the forums, watched all the tutorials, still didn't work, so I've tried it, believe me. Okay, anyway. Are AirPods really worth the price? Asks PlinkPony123. I definitely think they are. In fact, I would pay more for them. In fact, I have black pods now. And I would easily pay. I paid, I think, $250 for those black pods. But don't buy AirPods from Black Pods, because the paint job wasn't as premium as they were advertising it would be. I don't think I would pay $350 for black pods like on the Colorware. A lot of people were saying I should just order from Colorware because those would look a lot better. And they're right. Jet black AirPods, if you are going to get them, Colorware is more expensive, but it's going to look good. Black pods look a little bit sloppy, but for the most part they're okay. You know, they still work just like regular AirPods, and they only don't look good if you kind of closely analyze them. So I love them, but again, they're probably not the best way to go if you want different colored AirPods. But I would pay $200 for Apple certified AirPods. I'd probably pay $250 for Apple certified AirPods as well, but I think $160 is a totally fair price. I just gave my older pair of AirPods to my girlfriend because she really wanted them. And she absolutely loves them. She thought I was kind of overhyping them because I talk about them so much. Then she got them and she was like, "Oh my God, these are great. Like, I understand your fascination with them." So I definitely think they're worth it. Anyway, keep up the good work. Really appreciate your vids. Thank you, Ethic HVLH. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Thank you for your donation. And Yi Hirasawa says, "Are you ever going to update your YouTube playlists?" My YouTube. Oh. I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah, on my channel, a long time ago tried to make playlists like everything iPad, everything iPhone, everything Apple Watch, everything cars. And I've stopped updating those since then just because I don't think anyone was really using those playlists because it didn't really make sense to just watch a playlist of everything iPhone. I think people just watch my videos the way they are. So I'm probably just going to remove those playlists, honestly. Probably not going to update them to answer your question. But thank you for your donation. Everything Samsung Pro. It says, "Hey man, keep doing what you do. I used to be a Samsung sheep. Then I saw your videos. You know what you're saying. I like Apple way more now. Android is trash. So thank you so much." Wow, I'm surprised you had such a turnaround there, especially given your name is Everything Samsung Pro. He's just giving in. You could just call yourself Everything Apple Pro. I'm sure he won't care. IAA World says, "Do you think that I should buy iPhone 7 Plus or wait for the iPhone 7s or 8? Definitely wait. Definitely don't need to buy an iPhone 7 Plus right now. We're way too close to the refresh. We're 2 months away from figuring out what kind of iPhone cycles we're going to be getting. Once September comes around and we have a more clear view of pricing and features, then make a decision. But no one right now should buy an iPhone 7 Plus. No one right now should buy an Apple Watch or a Mac Pro. Definitely not a Mac Pro. There's a lot of things that we should not be buying from Apple right now." Matthew McCool says, "Hey dude, your story about you getting scammed is so funny, and I'm a redhead too." Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad that scam ended with a happy ending. I was truly worried about that whole time, and I was like, what is this video going to be called? Is it going to be called I Almost Got Scammed or I Definitely Got Scammed? And if I do officially get scammed and I lose this package, like, I'm probably going to have half my Patreon supporters back out. A lot of people just dislike and unsub for saying, "You're an idiot, why did you fall for that?" Really close to happening. And you know, if people unsubbed and disliked and backed out of their donations, I totally would have understood. It was an idiot move on my part, and I still feel very dumb about it, but I'm really grateful that it ended happily, and it could have ended much worse, but luckily Rose and Becky, who worked for UPS, did their job, and they did it correctly, intercepted the package. I don't know the official name of this guy or girl, whoever it was, because they changed their name on Facebook. They changed their profile picture, so whatever picture or name I was looking at, it was not real, I'm sure. And I don't even know if the address is really their address because They could have been asking grandma to pick up the packages for them, so their address isn't advertised everywhere. But either way, I want whoever's helping him or whoever house he's watching to be made aware that he's sending packages that way. So either way, if bad things happen to that address because of my video, it's on the scammer, it's not on me, because you can't just expect me to let bad things happen to me and to other people and to just be like, well, I have the address, but could be anything, so whatever, and just kind of toss it aside. I hope it's his address, and I hope he gets exposed for that and thinks about why that's not a nice thing to do, and you shouldn't do that to people. Anyway, iPad Pro 12.9 or 10.5, and also black bezels or white bezels. Definitely black bezels, Boss Forever. It blends in with the display when it's turned off. It looks seamless. Can you imagine what the Apple Watch would look like if it had white bezels? It would look hideous. I don't understand why we have white bezels at all. No, Yi Hirasawa, black bezels. Please, come on. Look, do you think they make TVs with white bezels? Like, why don't they make white bezeled MacBooks? You know, because it would look weird. So we need to just remove white bezels altogether. It would look terrible. Will Steve Jobs return as a zombie to present the i8 edition? Asks Paul Keating. 100%. Absolutely. Would you have bought the red iPhone if it had black bezels? Not like... no. Because I already had the iPhone 7 and that red iPhone came out halfway through the cycle, so... No, I don't think I would have bought it halfway through. If maybe, like... If the red iPhone came out alongside all the other iPhone 7s on launch day, maybe if it had black bezels, but it has white bezels. That's the end of the day, so either way. Where's the Apple mug? Oh, it's over on my nightstand. This can fit more water in it. That's why I like it. What don't you like about iOS 11? Well, that's a good question. Well, the first thing I liked at first is in the beta they removed like the volume that covers up the whole display. But then in the upcoming betas they put it back. So I was really frustrated by that. So I really hope they remove that permanently. It's such an obvious mistake that everyone hates. And then there's even a bug now. You know how when you're like in YouTube or Instagram and you're changing the volume, that they change the volume animation to be up at the top? I love that. I wish that was just built into the phone. Now, with the new beta, the volume shows up at the top of the phone just like it does, but also in the center of the display too. So there's two things covering up the screen when you change the volume. So there's a ton of bugs. So I hate that. But so that's something I wish they wouldn't change. One thing I'm actually getting a little sick of is the new screenshot thing. You know, when you take a screenshot and kind of minimizes it down and it hovers there for a second so you can edit it. I get what they're trying to do with that, but personally I prefer the old way. I think it's an option, it might be, but I hope they get rid of it. Or if they are going to keep it, like if we don't touch it for 5 to 6 seconds, it should just dismiss itself. Sometimes you just keep using your phone and it'll just hover there. It's like, well, Apple, if you're okay with hovering things like that over the display, can't we, I don't know, add picture-in-picture onto the iPhone? I don't know if you're comfortable with that. I think it should dismiss itself if you don't interact with it. And when you want to crop something, they should have the ratios built into markup. So when you like tap on the screenshot to edit it, they don't have like the 1:1, 2:1, 16:9, all those aspect ratio differences for when you're cropping a screenshot in markup. So that's something else they need. Okay. Do the dumb phone challenge. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's probably use a flip phone for a long time. I got a flip phone back here somewhere, but no, I'm not going to do that. It's stupid. Is Apple TV worth it if you have a smart TV? I guess that's a good question. I don't know. Well, I guess your smart TV isn't probably great at showing Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime Video and all that stuff. Really just depends on your budget. If you make more than $150 in a week, it's probably worth it. Like it's it shouldn't break your bank. Don't treat it like you're buying a brand new Apple product. Like, buying an Apple TV is not like buying an Apple Watch. It's not like buying a new iPad. Definitely just not gonna refresh your whole life. It's cool. It's nifty. I love it. I use it every day, but don't break your bank to buy one. It's if you don't have a full-time job and you're saving for other things, just keep saving for those. Don't save up for an Apple TV. Just buy it if you can afford it. That's when I bought it. I didn't save up money so I could review the Apple TV. It was like I had some spare money. I had a good month. I brought in a lot of income working at the ranch. Back then, when I bought the Apple TV, I didn't work on YouTube full-time. I didn't make very much at all from YouTube. I was just like, I had a good month. I'll treat myself a little bit. And I got it certified refurbished. I didn't buy it brand new, and I think everyone should do that with the Apple TV because it's very, very similar to get it refurbished. It's almost not different at all. So, anyway. I know screenshots can be dismissed by swiping left. I'm saying they should dismiss themselves if you don't interact with them for like 5 seconds. They should just go away. I don't want to have to screenshot, swipe away. Like, eliminate that step because in the old days, iOS 10 days, you would just screenshot and you were done. You didn't have to swipe somewhere. Is it possible for the SIM card to be embedded in the power button? Oh, that would be weird. Only if the power button was solid state, I feel like. Maybe. Yeah, no, it would have to be solid state. I don't think you could have a power button that clicks physically like they do now because those have a special piece of plastic in them that lets them, bounce like a button does. So if you wanted to put a SIM card in the power button, it would have to be just like the solid state home button on the iPhone 7. It would be pressure sensitive, and a taptic engine would go off when you press hard on it, so it would give the illusion of a click, but that's the only way you could embed a SIM card into the power button. That bottle is full of beer, we all know it. No, it is not. It's full of water because it's hot in here. I don't drink beer, first of all, because I'm not old enough. Second of all, because I don't like the taste. I'm probably not even going to drink beer when I'm old enough to drink beer. I'm not a beer guy. If this was beer, I couldn't down it. Someone donates. Wait, I don't want to down this because that would be hard. Someone donates $40, I'll chug the whole thing. I've done a house tour before. We're not going to do it again. What are your thoughts on buying a $30 Apple Cinema display from 2005? Jeez. I'm on a budget and I need a monitor. By the way, nice Tailosive main upload. Hashtag black bezels. Thank you, Simply Tech, for pointing this out. The main channel, which is simply called Tailosive. It's not tech, it's not gaming, it's not toxic, it's just Tailosive. I'm finally bringing back. I'm going to try to make more Saturday shorts and comedy sketches for that channel. So thanks for pointing that out. There's not going to be a whole lot of videos on there, but it's going to be hopefully every Saturday. So you guys should subscribe to that channel because now it's getting content. I hope you enjoy it. We're trying to do like a mockumentary style comedy sketches, kind of like Parks and Recreation and The Office. Those are my favorite TV shows, so I'm just trying to replicate that style for the crew of Tailosive. Alright, so in terms of buying $30, I mean, come on, it's $30. That's nothing. You should just buy that thing to have it as a collectible. I have a ton of old Apple. Oh, it's up on my nightstand. It's in the background of all my videos. There's a super old Apple Cinema display. I don't think I have anything that can take the kind of cable it needs, but just buy it because it's only $30. Jeez. Will you be able to buy the iMac Pro? Yin21, I get this question just about every live stream. And I'm going to say it again. I am very much going to try. I can't guarantee it. It's a 50-50 thing right now. But the channel doesn't make enough money to say for sure that I can afford it. It's a very expensive device. If I am going to buy it, I'm not going to buy any configuration that's higher than the base standard. I'm going to be getting the 1 terabyte of solid state, only 8 cores, but that is the cheapest option. Only 32 gigabytes of RAM, only the cheapest graphics card that's built into it, which is funny because everything I'm listing sounds amazing. This sounds like a really high-end computer, which it is, but in fact it's the base model of the iMac Pro. But I'm not going to be getting higher-end options of it or anything like that. But depending on the donations I get and how the channel performs, will determine if I can afford it. I'm not going to spend my entire bank account on it because I have to be able to afford the next iPhone, the next Apple Watch, the HomePod, and to try to squeeze the iMac Pro into all of that, which is by far more than all of those combined, it's going to be very tight. But I want it. If I can afford it comfortably without wiping out my entire bank account, I'd love to buy it and review it and use it for this channel. But until then, I can't. I can't insure it. Okay, Vincente Trevino says, why do you dislike MKBHD and everything Apple Pro so much? I get this comment so many times. I don't dislike them. I watch every single one of their videos. I'm subscribed to both of them. And it's not that I hate them. I literally, in my videos, just point out things that they do. There's nothing wrong with that. They could do that to me. I know I'm a tiny channel and they probably never reference me, but if they said, Apple sheeps out there who are crazy and going to justify everything Apple does, like Tailosive tech, they're going to buy it no matter what. I wouldn't be offended. I'd be like, you're right. That's me. I am the Apple sheep. So when I say things like, Red came out with a smartphone because they knew MKBHD would buy it, and then MKBHD buys 3 of them, it's like, there you go. See, if you watched my video about me talking about him, I don't think he'd be offended. I think he'd be like, you're right. It's not hate. I don't stand up in front of them and say MKBHD is a bad YouTuber or everything Apple Pro. You had a birthday, so you were gone for a week. You just didn't make videos. Instead, what I do when I'm gone for a long time is I make videos in advance and schedule them as they're gone. Not saying he can't do that. It's his channel. He has 4 million subscribers. He can leave for a week and still make money. I can't do that, so it's not an option for me. If I just ditched for a week, I would make 0 money. So I'm just pointing out something that he does and pointing out something that I do that because I'm promoting my channel, I say this is better. I think it's nice that if my favorite YouTubers, I'm not my favorite YouTuber, but if my favorite YouTubers made videos ahead of time while they were out of town, I would appreciate that more than if they just didn't do anything. So I'm just pointing out, this is what I do, I think that's better, this is what they do. It's not a hate thing, it's just pointing out the obvious. And it's my job to kind of promote my own channel, so I'm not going to stand up and say that all these other tech channels are way better than me. Like, that wouldn't be good for me, and I don't believe that. I'd be lying. Tailosive is back. Almost. Okay, people are saying, why do you hate everything Apple Pro so much? Again, as I said, I don't. I watch all the videos. I'm subscribed. I just point out things that they do. That doesn't mean I hate them. It just means they do things that I mentioned. Anyway. Do you watch Planet of the Apps on Apple Music? What do you think of Apple's attempts? Good question, Luke Mainstone. I tried to watch... Well, I only watched the first episode of Planet of the Apps. The problem is I think that's not something the mainstream wants to watch. It's like... It's really interesting, but only for, like, techie people or business majors. It's like something that would be interesting to people going into a business, which is something I do. So it was semi-interesting for me, but they were filming it like it was a, it was an episode of Duck Dynasty or something, or HGTV. It was so like cliche. This is a cable TV kind of TV show. It's so obvious, but I don't like it. I'm not gonna keep watching it. It wasn't that interesting. I think it'll be a flop. Apple Sheep donated. That's ironic. That's me. Thank you for donations. Why do you think Apple is supporting iPod 6, iOS 11? Oh, are they? I didn't realize that. If they are, I guess it's probably just because the processor chips, that's what Yi Hirasawa is saying, because iPod has the A8 chip. So you just have a certain processor chip that can support that architecture, they're going to give it to it. I really don't know why. I don't know why they haven't discontinued the iPods yet. I definitely would, but I guess if it has the processing power to handle it, why not? It would be very mean if it had the processing power and yet they didn't give it the operating system. I think that would be a bit more frustrating. Ahmed Eakley says, do you hate iPod Touch? I don't hate it, I just don't see the point of it anymore. People keep asking, like, are they going to update the iPod Touch? What would you like to see it on iPod Touch refresh? The problem is, the iPod Touch was always an iPhone without a cell plan. So, intentionally, and Apple knows what they're doing, back when they made iPod Touches, they knew that they could not make it as good as an iPhone. As long as you're making an iPod Touch, it has to be inferior to that year's iPhone lineup. So, when people ask, like, what do you want to see in the new iPod Touch? You can't ask for things that the new iPhones already have. So that's why I thought it was ridiculous to keep it around, is because with the iPhone SE, you know, iPhones are getting cheaper than they've ever been, and they have great specs, great camera, great displays, great option, great lineup overall. Why do we need to add, like, basically, I know it's an iPod Touch, but why do we need to basically add an iPhone without a cell plan that is inferior hardware-wise than the iPhone lineup? That's why the iPod Touches right now are more expensive than an iPhone SE, because they're trying to discourage people from buying them, and I think they could be discontinued any minute. Thank Apple for supporting products. My Galaxy stuff never got an update after a year, so I got an iPhone since I'm broke and want updates. Yeah, Cecile Abul, that's a great point, and I think that's the main reason a lot of people buy into the Apple ecosystem, is the fact that it changes in updates and gets better so much over time. You won't see that as much with Android phones. They'll get a little bit of software update, but for the most part, nothing. Same with your Surface products. You got Windows 10, you're sticking with Windows 10. It's not going to change very much. However, things like iOS 11, that's a big step forward. Things like watchOS 4 completely changes your watch. macOS High Sierra, not a complete design layout, however, frees up a lot of storage, improves your performance. Like, I can transfer files around here instantly now. I can duplicate files instantly. I got a lot more free storage when I updated to High Sierra on here. So there's all these benefits to being part of that ecosystem, and again, it is the software. Okay. Yes, exactly. Ryan, instead of buying an iPod, get an old iPhone and take the SIM out. Absolutely right. That's what I would do. Buy an old iPhone 6 sealed in the case. Take the SIM, buy it unlocked, so there's no carrier. That's your iPod Touch. Okay, Super Donut, love that name, says, Tailosive Tech, my dad has an iPhone 6S but wants a Samsung S7. But I tell him the iPhone is better, but he won't listen to me. Help me, Tailosive Tech. Well, look, everyone's going to buy what they want, and for your dad, perhaps the Galaxy S7 is a better buy. He needs it to do certain things. He doesn't like iPhones or iOS for that reason. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you can't persuade people. So that's probably what I would suggest to your dad, is say that, you know, there's a lot of people, at least in my comment section, that say that the S7 gets laggy over time, and the iPhones that I've used and had hold up very, very well, and you're going to get software updates for it. In other words, I think your iPhone is going to be a better buy because it's going to last longer. And the S7 is going to stay the same, if not get slower over time. And it won't be as noticeably different. Okay. We want your girlfriend, more views, more subs. You want my girlfriend in the videos, or you just want her? If you just want her, get the hell out of here. She's in a lot of my vlogs. So if you want more Louise, my girlfriend, subscribe to Tailosive Talks, because she's on that channel often. And I'm going to try to be bringing her into more Saturday shorts on the main channel. She wants to be a part of Tailosive. She's very excited about it. She watches all the videos. And I love her, and she's a great gal. We just got back from a 3-day camping trip, which was a lot of fun. Literally got back like 3 hours ago. Okay. Have you seen the leaked Pixel XL 2 renders? What do you think about it? You should follow me on Twitter. I did like a short meme on there about my reaction to the Google Pixel 2. Honestly, it looks... I know a lot of people are acting excited because the display is bigger, but honestly... Of all the smartphones that have come out this year, the Pixel 2 still has the biggest chin, if those leaks are correct, which they probably are. It's still like, I get that it's not as big as before, but the chin is still substantially larger than the S8s, than the G6s. I'm sure the iPhone editions. So I'm still going to make fun of it like there's no tomorrow. I'm going to hate on the Pixel 2 even if it's a fairly decent phone. You can expect that just because it'll be like it's the flagship Android smartphone, and since Android is the direct competitor to my favorite Apple product, it kind of makes sense that the Apple sheep not be totally in love with it. Plus, you guys would get bored if I was like, I prefer the iPhone, but Samsung makes good for smartphones. Like, I like the Galaxy S8, and I'm excited to see the Galaxy Note 8. I'm not going to buy them and keep them as my primary device, but I'm curious about them because they make very good phones. Pixel's a joke. It would be boring if I went over to the Pixel lineup and said it's pretty good too. It's far more fun to just understand that this is the epitome of Android and that it has all these failures. And luckily, I didn't have to try very hard to make fun of the Pixel last year. It was very easy. And I'm anticipating that this year it's also going to be very easy to make fun of. I don't think the Pixel 2 will be good. It'll be better than last year's, obviously, but it's not going to be great. It's probably going to be the worst, most expensive phone this year. Do you think Adobe is going to try to get into the iOS game more professionally since LumaFusion and Infinity Photo are starting to get as good as their professional products? Uncle Jerry the 50th asks, great question. I don't think so because LumaFusion, while it is great, and it has actually been getting some software updates recently that have fixed a lot of the bugs I complained about in the review of it, I don't think it's getting enough traction, honestly. LumaFusion isn't getting enough money or attention to be worthy so that Adobe actually sees competition. They're like, oh, wait, we're losing out on a market here. Obviously, I wish they did. I want Adobe to make all of their apps for iPad, but I don't see that happening because they're probably not worried about that being a rising issue, just because no one knows about LumaFusion. Everyone should, though. Please, check out my video on it. You didn't even try to say my name? Because I know I'm going to mess it up. Okay, I'll try. Rekendik. There. Okay, have you ever been upset with a purchased Apple product? Amsterdam asks. That's a good question. Really, no. That's why I love them so much. Let me think. Ever been upset? Trying to think back. I really haven't. I've really used the most out of every Apple product I've bought. Like, I use them and I love them and they become something I can't live without on day-to-day basis. So it seems mean, but I guess the Apple TV is kind of basic. It's not a bad product though. I love the Apple TV and I use that all the time, but I guess if the question was like, if there's one Apple product I have to leave behind, like, you know, I had to think about this for a while because a couple weeks ago I was in an evacuation warning zone because of the wildfires around my house, only a couple miles away, and it was heading our direction. I would leave the Apple TV. Like, if I had to grab a bunch of things because my house was burning down, I wouldn't run to grab the Apple TV. That would be something in the back of my mind that I don't worry about. Be like, nope, that can burn. I'm not going to fuss with that. That's like, if I had to pick one Apple product to leave behind, that would be it. But I'm still not unsatisfied with it. I wasn't unhappy with it. Anyway, we got some super chats. Simos805 says, hi, I'm Simos from Greece. How many friends you have there are interested in tech like you? Because here, I'm the only one who's interested in tech. Yeah, Simos, it's kind of sad. I really don't have a lot of friends that are that into the tech field as I am. Not anymore anyway. I've kind of parted ways with some of my friends that were into tech because of backstage drama at Tailosive. I'm not really talking to them anymore. So there's really not anyone I talk to just casually about technology. It's mainly just you guys. You get all my tech talks. Rick Tobin, thank you for your donations. Says, what car are you driving? I'm driving a 2006 Hyundai Sonata. It was very affordable and cheap, and that's why I got it. It wasn't terribly expensive, but it runs great, and it has like, I think a full tank can take me 450 miles, so it's a great mileage. I love it. It's not as good as a Tesla. Really want a Tesla, but I hope that the Hyundai Sonata can take me can be a good car, and so far it has been all the way up till the time I can't afford a Tesla. Hopefully someday. Which someone's asking me about. Are you saving up for one, or what are your thoughts on it, or plans on it? A Model 3, don't expect there to be videos on it or anything about it soon. I'm not currently like putting away money that's dedicated for a Tesla Model 3. But it's definitely one I feel like if the channel grows, if I get enough views, if I get enough donations and people support the channel enough, I hope that is my next car. Like if I get to a point where I have to start shopping for a car, that would be my dream one, is the Model 3. But there's no immediate plans on it because I only had this new car for about a year. New car that's 11 years old. But it still runs great, and there's no problems with it. So until that one blows up one day, then, you know, once it Note 7's all over the place, I won't need a new car. So, and it's Model 3 is far beyond my price range right now. So it's at least good 10 years away. Don't expect much of it. Do you think the Essential phone will be a threat to Apple? No, Ahmed. I think it's really cool. I think the Essential phone is neat. I've listened to a lot of what that Andy Rubin guy has said, and I like him. I know he's the founder of Android, but he admits that he doesn't like where Android is now. And his model of building his own business, smartphone business, I really like. There's a couple things I disagree with, but for the most part, I think he's a really cool guy. And I just don't think that the Essential phone is really going to be a major competitor. I think it's going to start. I don't know. I want it to do well. I really want a lot of people to buy it, but to be honest, I feel like a lot of people aren't. I think people are going to go for the Pixel 2 because that's directly from Google, so it's good. It's stock Android, that's the best. And they'll go for the Galaxy S8 because obviously Samsung makes the best hardware out there. Not the best software, but they'll prefer the hardware. And I want the Essential phone to be a good mixture of that, but I feel like advertising-wise, it's too out of the way. People aren't going to know about it. It's going to do fairly level. I think a bunch of tech people will review it. I don't know if I'll have the money to review it, but I don't think it's going to get as much attention as it deserves. People need to give the Essential phone a chance. I think it's cool. Are you planning to use the Google Cloud platform? No, because I don't know what it is and I don't care about it. Pixel 2 will destroy the Essential phone? I really hope not. Is the 2915 MacBook Pro still a good buy? Probably, because it doesn't come out for another 900 years. Jason Kim says, iPhones get slower over time with new iOS updates. Do you think after a certain amount of time people should stop updating their iPhones to avoid them getting slower even though they had the option to? No, people should just buy new phones, honestly. Don't keep your phone around. Like, it's so frustrating to have that one guy who keeps running iOS 9 and then you get his phone and nothing's happening. Oh no. Lee Brown says, I just smashed my iPhone 7 on the top left corner while watching the live stream. Lee, I'm so sorry. That sucks. I feel terrible. I'm so glad that's not me right now. Okay. Jojo says, Note 8 or iPhone edition. Definitely the Note 8. It's going to be a way better buy, and it's coming out next month. That was a joke. Tyrion Lannister says, hey man, I am back in the best way to get 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 the best way to up Conor McGregor. Okay. I don't know what that means. Don't be that guy using iOS 8 on iPhone. Yeah, let's just update yourself. Treat yourself. Give yourself 4 years at least. If your iPhone can't support the newest iOS update, you've had it for at least 5 years. You're due for an upgrade. This is water. This is water, guys. What Apple Watch band would you buy no matter the price? Ooh, probably nothing. I really don't like paying more than $50 for an Apple Watch band. In fact, I never have. I have the Milanese Loop, but that was a gift from one of you gracious fans. Daniel Holloway. You guys should check him out on Twitter. And this watch band was also a gift from a very generous fan, which I unboxed on Tailosive Unbox. Again, subscribe to Tailosive Talks to see that show. There's not a watch band I would buy no matter the price. Okay, well, wait a minute. If they made a Nike Plus Apple Watch band that was red, which they haven't yet, there's third-party ones, but I don't want the third-party ones. If they made a red one, man, I would break my bank a little bit for it. Probably not more than $100, but they wouldn't do that. It would be $50. Okay. Levi says, I've been binging all your videos for the past 2 weeks. Best 2 weeks of my life. Thank you for all your amazing content. Keep up the videos, and I'll keep watching. Thank you, Levi. Thank you for your support. I appreciate that. Yo, Drew, volunteer cop, buying houses, and Stu the talking truck all the way. Tailosive is back. Oh, an apartment or house before Tesla. Just trust me. Oh, yeah, Simply Tech. Absolutely. I would not buy a car before I move out. I still pay rent to be here, but I'd rather be paying money for a house or an apartment before a car. That's definitely more important. No, that's a given. Don't think I'd buy a car before I move out. Okay. What's your dream car? Tesla Model 3. Thoughts on cellular version of iPads? I definitely don't understand why they make those, because I think using a hotspot from your phone is so easy. A lot of people say they don't like the phone battery going out quick or the battery dropping, but I haven't had a problem with it. Just carry a battery pack. It's not that hard. I guess it's a little frustrating that you can't AirDrop while you're personal hotspotting on your iPhone, but it's such a rare situation where I need to AirDrop and have a personal hotspot at the same time. You save so much money just by connecting to your phone's hotspot with your iPad. Just do that. It's not worth all that extra money. Why not a Model S? Oh, because that's more money. I want the Model 3. It's cheaper. Should I get the new iPad Pro if I already have a MacBook Pro late 2016 and iPhone 7 Plus? Adam, if you can afford it, if you make more than double the price of the iPad Pro you want in a month, then I'd say go for it. But if you don't have a good source of income, then don't. That's too much. Are you going to buy a HomePod? Yes, the HomePod is a for sure thing happening. I can say for sure I'll be buying and reviewing the new iPhone. That's a definite thing. The next Apple Watch, hopefully there is one, and the HomePod. Those are all happening. There's no question. The maybe thing is the iMac Pro. I can't guarantee that. I really want to review it, but I can't guarantee it. What are your thoughts on Apple making glasses AR in the future? I really hope they do it, and I'm sure they're working on it right now. I have so many questions. I'm curious on how the operating system will work. I really don't think there should be much of a UI. I think it should be tethered mostly to the iPhone. But I think the AR glasses will change the way we use all of our tech, for sure. What's your opinion about Linux machines? I've talked about this in the past, but it's just, I don't think there's a huge demand on my channel to review Linux, because it's not going to get me to switch away from my MacBook. I know that there's advantages to Linux, like being able to customize things, but that's not the kind of thing I'm into. I like Mac OS because of all the apps it supports, but anyway. Square Gamer says, don't you think it's a shame that Android phones need to advert that they have stock Android? Yeah, it is a kind of a shame, isn't it? It's annoying now that I can't just say a phone has Android. Everyone's like, no, that's Samsung's version of Android. It's basically not even Android. It's like, so there's just like an entire wave of spectrums of Android now. There's just like all these little pie. There's like a giant pie chart with 100 different pies. And this is Samsung's version. This is Google's version. Because stock Android really is just Google's version of Android, right? Because now we have Essential Phone. Now we have Samsung. We've got Blue. We've got Oppo. We've got OnePlus. They have all different versions of Android. It's not the same. Yeah, I'm tired of all the variations. I want consistency. Why can't Android be required to be the same across everything? Okay. I think VR is overrated. Do you agree? Yes, I do. Are you buying an Xbox One X? I don't think so. I'm not a gamer. If someone were to donate the money in a live stream to say, please review the Xbox One X, I'll pay for half of it, or most of it, which you can do technically. If someone donated a massive amount, and that would be more than this channel's ever seen. If someone was like, $250, review the Xbox One X, I would pay for the rest of it. That's a fine deal. I'd review it for you. Apple Watch, is it worth it? Want to invest in one and getting mixed reviews about the watch. Ola, I really love it. I think it will change your life. I am every day trying to close my activity rings. I love the notification management. I love all of that. I think it is worth it, but of course it depends on your value. But don't buy one right now. That's another thing. You don't need an Apple Watch right now. Wait for September. New ones are unveiled, then make a decision. The Series 2 will be cheaper, and the Series 3 will have new things we can't predict yet. Do you think an Apple Watch would benefit a high schooler? Excuse me. Well, it's hard to say because I got an Apple Watch right when I left high school and went to college. What I really loved was, in college at least, I could text in class with Scribble and not have my phone out. And I feel like if you're being a bad student, you would enjoy that in high school. But I'm going to say only if you have a job. If you don't have a job and you're in high school and you're wondering if you should buy an Apple Watch, don't. Find a source of income first. That's too much money to spend on someone who doesn't have an income. Huh? Rick Tobin says, $10 each, let's do it. Oh my God. No, I'm talking about one specific donation. I'm not saying like an entire an entire live stream equaling $250. Where do you get your background music from? Asks Benjamin Obi-Wan Polly. There's a website called Incomputech that is stuff with a bunch of royalty-free music that anyone can use. You won't get copyright strikes for it. They post music up there just for anyone to take and have. You guys should try it. Casper Ward York says, I'm on a budget and need a laptop and am an Apple sheep, so I'm going to get a MacBook with my budget. I could either get an old MacBook Pro or an old MacBook Air. Upgradability versus portability. Well, they're both old, so I don't recommend that. I'd recommend saving for a new one. But if you need one right now, MacBook Pro is going to have a tad more ports, which can be convenient. So, yeah, I'd say MacBook Pro. Why not? Better specs. Do you think Apple will ever implement the curved display like Samsung? I like the curved glass that Apple does, but not the display like Sammy. Good question, Paul deGrassi. That's a good question. I don't personally. My opinion on like the curved displays is that they're cool, they're neat. It's just another way to minimize bezels, but you can still see the bezels on an S8 when you're looking at it. So it's not like it drastically changes. To me, it's kind of like a cheat for making bezels thinner instead of actually just making them thinner. Because OLED is flexible, so it's very easy to. I mean, it's not super easy, but it's fairly simple to just curve the display a little bit. So that it wraps around the internal components of the phone to give the illusion of thinner bezels. But as long as it makes the design look cooler, which of course is just by removing the bezels around the side, I'm fine with it. If you can do it without curving the display, that's great. If you need to curve the display, that works too. So Apple could do it, I'd be fine with it. If they don't, I'm also fine with it. I have no preference when it comes to curved displays. Just don't distort the screen. I used the Note 7 and the S8 for a while, and the curved displays were cool, but I don't miss them. Make a collab with Everything Apple Pro. I doubt he'd like me, but I'd like to. I can't get a hold of him. I tag him on stuff all the time. He doesn't want to. I'm not big enough to be noticed by a channel like that. What do you think the likelihood that... What is the likelihood, asks Samuel Schiller, that the iPhone edition gets ProMotion? I'd say pretty good, because that was a pretty pro feature for the iPad, and I feel like that was just kind of a teaser for the displays on the iPhones, which are rumored to have True Tone displays. So I'm going to say it's like 80% chance of ProMotion. I'd be a little disappointed if it didn't. To be honest, I think Everything Apple Pro would like you. I don't know why it would. I'm kind of a bit more openly biased, and I call him out sometimes on things that he does. He'd be like, hey, what the heck, man? We're very different channels, but I'd like to collab. Rick Tobin donated $10. Thank you very much. No comment. You can leave a comment, dude. Thank you anyway. Do you think the new 12-inch... Oh, I see what he's saying. Rick Tobin, here's his comment. 10 times 232. That is huge and really a hamburger for us. I will start. The guy has worked so hard for so long to entertain us. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Who is your biggest hero, Steve Jobs or Elon Musk? Ooh, that's a good question. Jobs or Musk? Well, Jobs is dead, so there's that. Musk is still alive. Jobs kind of changed the way we'll use computers forever. However, Musk might save humanity. We kind of needed both, though. Like, I don't think Elon Musk would be here without Jobs. So it's kind of like a source thing. Man, that's a tough question. Can't they work together? Did they ever meet? They probably did. I don't know. Maybe they didn't. Musk wasn't that big back then. I'm going to go with Musk because he's doing space exploration, and I think that's awesome. I love SpaceX. Unbox Universe says, do you think iPads will replace computers in the future, or do you think Apple is pushing in that direction? This is a good question. Thank you for your donation, Unbox Universe. I think that if implemented the right software and hardware, they could replace our laptops and desktops, but we're not there yet. We're at a time right now where laptops and desktops are still the default go-to for computers. That's what software is optimized for, and that's what all our pro hardware goes to right now. But for the most part, I feel like iPads aren't actually ready yet. They're too underpowered. They don't have the pro software, but eventually, I hope they'll get there. I'm still fairly unsure if they actually will officially replace them someday, but as of right now, I don't think so. Cizalo says, if Elon Musk makes a city on Mars, what should he call it? Ooh. That's a good question. Not very hard to predict. Oh, man, that's a good question. I'm trying to think. He could name it after something. I don't know. Elysium. No, that'd be a little on the nose. They could name it Matt Damon, because Matt Damon's a Martian. See, it's a joke. To send money in Super Chat, you have to use Safari, either on your iPhone, iPad, or MacBook. Open YouTube on Safari instead of the YouTube mobile app. Okay, let me think. Oh, man, this is tough. There's got to be some good ones. Oh, no one's gonna suggest it. Fine. All right. I'm gonna say Atlantis sounds pretty cool. Could name it Atlantis, but I guess that's a. Well, it's at the bottom of the ocean, and he could say that Mars used to have oceans on it. So now that there's a city on Mars, Atlantis. There you go. It's kind of cliche, but I would like it. How do you make a collab? You tweet at the YouTuber you want to collab with and hope they answer. That's what I did. He didn't answer. Muskville. Teslavania. That's pretty good. School News asks, what do you think of Apple ARKit? I think it's really cool. I've been seeing a lot of demos of apps that are taking advantage of ARKit. I really like it. I'm excited to see what other apps can use it. I think that's neat. Tag me on Twitter for collab options, please. Ice Planet RC says, please answer this question. Okay. Mark H says, hey Drew, do you think Vivo will patent their fingerprint scanner under the display because their purpose of showing it on a prototype seems pretty obvious, shaming on Apple? I think the reason they showed it on a prototype was because they knew they would get all the attention they did for it. When was the last time you heard about Vivo and Qualcomm announcing new technologies and it being reported on the news? Doesn't happen very often. They did it because it would be a big publicity stunt, and they knew that it would be useful in the future, and a lot of people are asking about Touch ID in the next iPhone. So if they post that they figured it out, they're going to get a lot of fame and glory, but not till next year. Anyway. Tailosive Tech, please answer. Should I watch this stream or Scott Pilgrim versus the World? If you haven't seen, you must watch. Well, if I must watch it, it must be pretty good, so you should probably watch that. This stream's pretty boring. Okay. Free merch. I wish I had free merch to give away, but unfortunately, even I have to pay top price for these shirts. For how many years should a person own a MacBook Pro without updating to be worth the investment? Ooh, that's a good question. My mom used hers for like 7 to 8. I would be satisfied with this MacBook Pro if it could last me 5. Because I'm a tech reviewer, I feel like I need to buy the new designs and stuff. I might go for 4 to 5 with this one. Oh, there's a sale! I totally forgot about... Oh, I don't have it down in front of me. Give me a second, guys, actually. There's actually a coupon code. I'll type it in the chat here. You guys should write this down. Open the Notes app on your phone, everyone. There's a sale going on right now. I'll write it... for Spreadshirt, for buying Tailosive merchandise. So, from July 18th to July 23rd, you guys can buy Tailosive merch, links in the description, that have the Give Me a Break shirt, or the I Love AirPods, or the tee. July 18th to July 23rd, you get 15% off when you use this code, which is 15 off 717. That's the code. They let the sellers on Spreadshirt know about sales, and that's one going out. So there's your discount code. Hopefully y'all can save some money if you want to buy some shirts. Now till the 23rd would be a good time to do that. Does your merch sell well? By the way, love the headphone jack one. Thank you, Brownie Studios. Thank you. It didn't sell well the first 2 months. I told people about it, but last month it actually did pretty well. There was actually a couple sales every single day, I think. 1 to 2, which I get like $1 to $2 off of. So I don't make a lot off of them, but it's more just for you guys to have. I don't make that much money on the t-shirts because I don't do the printing or the shipping. Spreadshirt gets most of the money, but I just want you guys to have an option to have merchandise if you want it. You don't have to buy anything. How old are you? I'm 19. I'm 19 years old. George McNish says, if you get the iMac Pro, are you going to start to play games? Not often, but on the gaming channel, we're going to try to do 2 live streams a week from here on out, and we're going to do that with the MacBook Pro. So it won't be able to do much gaming on this rig, but with the iMac Pro, we'll probably just be able to play better games on that, and we'll live stream from it. So I'll play games for the channel, but I don't really play games in my spare time. You're 19? I thought you were 20. My girlfriend is 20. Okay, please answer. Do you think the new 12-inch MacBook is a good refresh, and do you think it's underrated and more powerful than it appears to be? Yeah, it's underrated, and it's definitely more powerful than people think. I believe they just refreshed them, so yeah, now would be a good time to buy a 12-inch MacBook. What monitor to buy for MacBook Pro? LG Ultrafine 5K, or what do you prefer? I have the budget, but it is worth it for the price. I looked at the LG Ultrafine 5K. Personally, for me, it's a little too expensive. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. But that's just me. I wouldn't pay that much for a monitor. I have a little 22-inch Asus monitor. It's just 1080p. That wasn't much money at all, but I thought that was a good deal. So, in terms of monitors, like, I don't usually have a demand for them to be ultra high resolution because the laptop itself is already very high resolution, so I don't see why I need to plug in something equally as detailed. With this monitor, I can put the power plug into the MacBook Pro, close it, I have a keyboard and mouse over there, and then the MacBook Pro just becomes like the computer. Doesn't have to output to this large display, just has to output to that 1080p monitor. Since that's only 1080p, computer doesn't have to work as hard. Doesn't have to output at 2.7K or whatever this is. Okay, what do you think the name will be for the new special iPhone 8 or Edition? I think it'll be Edition, but I'm sure everyone's wrong. Okay. This is the question, asks Ice Planet RC. Should I upgrade to the iPad Pro 10.5 from iPad Air 2? Sorry about previous chat. Yes. I think that's a worthy upgrade. Air 2 to 10.5, I think that's a noticeable, worthy update. Someone says it froze, but no one else is saying that. Do you think Apple should redesign the iMac? Yeah. I want them to get rid of the bottom chin and make the bezels thinner, like all the way around. There's a Instagram guy I've talked to called the Apple... Shoot, I forgot his name. He changed his name. It used to be r.designer, but now it's something else. It's like the Apple Conceptor, I think. I can't remember. Apple Designer. No, that's iApple Design. I think it's Apple Conceptor. His concept for the iMac is what I wanted. They actually have curved corners, just like the Galaxy S8 or the next iPhone will have curved corners. And the bezel's much thinner. They don't have that big chin. I don't think we need a big Apple logo on our iMac. I want them to refresh it. Please answer. I would buy a semi-maxed out 2017 5K iMac in October for video editing, 3D modeling, and some gaming on boot camp. Do you think it's a good buy? Well, if your price point is approaching what the iMac Pro is, be careful. I think it might just be worth it to buy the cheapest iMac Pro, which is hopefully what I can do. But if it's a lot cheaper, if it's just $3 to $2,000, then I think that's a good idea. Sure, why not? Excuse me. Okay. Hey Drew, you've mentioned before you have Xcode. You should use it to install the ARKit demo and do a video about it. I have it. I don't know how to code though. I'm sorry. I'm not a coder. I apologize. Knox asks, Tailosive, please answer. Is it a worthy upgrade from iPhone 7 to iPod Shuffle 3rd Gen? Abso-freaking-lute! You should all buy the iPod Shuffle 3rd Gen right now. This is the 4th Gen. I'm so dirt poor I can't even afford the 3rd generation Shuffle. That is so worth it. Best question we've gotten all live stream. Thank you so much for watching. There will be a video out tomorrow. This is your video today. Good to be back. I know I didn't leave for you guys because I made the videos in advance, but thank you for your donations. I will see you guys in the next one. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I hope you all have an awesome day. Take care.